You sad, man?
No. She'll be better. The first 2JZ engine that you built.
It did really well. In the last video, you guys heard the bad news. We blew the 3.4 liter in the competition car. It is Monday right now. We would technically still be at the circuit and just getting ready to head back now if everything went according to plan. But we're at the shop. I have the car on the lift. My goal is to pull the motor, trans, everything out of the car. We're then gonna pull the motor down and work out what went wrong so that then we can take all those parts out, see what we can salvage, and try to have a motor back in here in like a week or so. Yeah, that's our goal. So let's find out what went wrong. Obviously we haven't opened the engine yet, so we don't know for sure, but what I'm seeing coming out of the oil is a really good sign. We're only seeing still bearing material, not seeing anything too crazy. Now this was fresh oil that we threw in, and we ran the engine just like a couple times. So the fact that we're not seeing like any big chunks coming out is a really good sign that potentially there's a lot we can salvage from inside the engine. I'm hoping there is. There's a lot of expensive parts in there. I'm hoping my billet mains are okay, as well as the girdle, like the bracing block and stuff we got from Dulac. Hopefully that's all okay, and it's just bearings. We can just slap another crank in this, the rods are good, they're not like damaged and overheated and blue or anything, then this could actually be a pretty simple, easy repair.
And a spare, so that we build another one.
Exactly, yeah, well we're gonna have like 3 engines for next year. Well actually I probably need to build 4 JZs for other shenanigans that you guys don't know about yet. But anyways, yeah, JZ fun times. 2 Js. And I gotta build like 2 other 1Js.
I'm still surprised though how long this engine lasted.
Yeah, to be fair, like, okay, so this is one thing that like annoyed me a little bit about the comments, right? I try to take everything with a grain of salt, but you guys need to understand, like, every other team that was there, except for I think Falsto, because he's still running like a 3 liter, stock crank, stock rods, stock crank with rods and pistons. I think he's technically a 3.1. Everyone else was on their 2nd or 3rd engine. Like, this type of motorsport is not kind to the engine. We are literally going into corners at the top of rev limiter, then smashing our foot down, letting it bounce off limiter, and then dropping the clutch again. Like, and these engines are revving to 8K. They're making it all 1,000 horsepower. Every car there weighs like 500 kilos lighter than my car and is at 900 horsepower. So my car's 1,400. I have to have 1,200 at the big tracks to keep up with them. Now next year, they're bringing in weight classes, which I'm really excited about, because what we can do is lighten up the car and move weight to the rear so I can still run the same big tires, but have the weight where I want it. And we can still have even more power, like the same power level kind of engine. Like, this car felt so good at the power level that it was at because of the weight that it has and the tire profile and everything we're using. So there's a lot of things that I guess like people don't understand, and I know a lot of you guys obviously don't compete in Formula Drift, so maybe you don't know this stuff, or you just play games and don't even have a race car. Hi. But also, like, there's just a lot more that goes into it than what you see in the videos, I guess. So try to be a little more understanding.
So what he's saying is shut up.
Yeah, shut up. Go drive your car on Forza. No, it's Horizon. Like, Forza Horizon.
Said it's Niagara Falls.
So we've cut open the filter. We use one of these oil filter cutting tools. These are great. You can get them off AliExpress for like 15 bucks. It was really, really good. That way you're not like struggling to cut it open with a pair of wire cutters or dikes. But we can see bearing material, and we ran the magnet over it and a little bit of it was moving. So it's steel or iron too. So yeah, it's still not that bad though. So hopefully something's still salvageable. All right, pull it back just a little. obviously my season this year for Formula Drift Japan has come to a pretty abrupt end. It was a great season, it was very hard, but obviously with the circumstances with the blown engine and stuff like that, I need to make sure that I'm being forward thinking. And that's why today's video is sponsored by Be Forward. You guys know Be Forward, they are a massive supporter of the channel. Not only are they on the side of the Formula Drift car, but they are on banners around the shop as well. Be Forward is Japan's biggest car exporter. I want you guys to be forward thinking and think about when you want to get your dream car out of Japan. Is it a $1,500 Cresta? Is it a Bogan 32 with a single jingle RB20E that you're gonna turbo and put an RB30 cam in? Or is it a Kusahira, an abandoned S15 Silvia that you find somewhere in Okinawa at a random dealership? I don't know, but what I can tell you is whatever your dream car is here in Japan, Be Forward can export that car to you. They can also help communicate between you and the dealers all around Japan. Not only that, but auction access and other things like just used car parts and stuff. Be Forward is a huge company here. Once again, they're Japan's biggest car exporter. We've been there before. We've had a look at some of their inventory and cars that are getting exported out of the country. I think last year they exported way over 100,000 cars, which is just mind-blowing to think about, but they've been in the business for a long time. And if you want to get your car exported out of Japan without dealing with middlemen and all that other kind of junk, hit up Be Forward. Their website is down in the description, beforward.jp. And you can also use coupon code SAMMIT in checkout for $100 off your first car purchase, and they'll also throw some free goodies and gifts in the car with you when it exports and leaves the country. I can't tell you guys how much Be Forward has helped us grow as a channel and as a team at Formula Drift Japan and in motorsport, and I hope you guys take advantage and make sure you get in contact with them when you want to export your dream car out of Japan. The engine's out. There's a big hole in my car now. We're gonna get the clutch off, put it on an engine stand, and I'll start pulling this thing down right away. We're gonna go to lunch though, but by the end of this video, make sure you watch to the end because we're gonna have this thing open. You're gonna be able to see everything. Also, now's a really good time to tell you, more than ever, I need you guys to smash that like button. Let YouTube know, let the algorithm know that you like these videos, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get that gold plaque by the end of the year. That would be super awesome. And we want to keep making awesome videos and have you guys along for the journey with us. So that would be great. But yeah, Jay-Z went boom. So we'll get this clutch off and then little break and then back into it. We've now got the engine on the stand, which means what we got to do is actually start pulling the whole thing down, taking all the accessories off. Unfortunately, JZs aren't like RBs, so you can't get to the head studs or the head bolts without taking the cams out. On RBs, everything's notched, so you can just go and take everything off. So JZs require... Yeah, big JZ guy over here. Anyways, so also, I don't think I ever introduced Sappy. He's from Okinawa. This is the guy that had the Cresta. I'm sure some of you guys know about it, but yeah. Anyways, you'll be seeing him a fair bit more on the channel. That aside, though, we're gonna pull everything down, and pretty much we'll pick things up when we start seeing inside the engine. So time lapse again. Head's coming off. Ooh. Sit it down. Looking at the pistons, we're looking good. Damn. Pistons are looking beautiful. I love that they still have the coating on them. And is there any rust at the top? No. Dang. Bore's looking good. That's what we want to see, baby. That's exactly what we want to see. Nice. Oh, the head's nice. Valves look good, no detonation. No weird stuff, no damage. Everything looks really good actually. Head looks great. Perfect. That's what you want. Head's good. All right, so that's already half of the engine saved. The pistons, the top of the pistons actually look really good. Let me get some parts cleaner on that real quick. This oil residue is most likely the additive I add to my E85, which is to try to prevent any kind of rust or any buildup happening. Obviously E85 draws in moisture a lot. Dang. You know what's crazy? Oh my gosh, Daiki. You can still see the number 6 from when I built the engine. You can still see the pen that says 6 there. Not good. Just. Yeah, the pistons look really nice. All of this carbon deposit stuff here, it's just from the oil additive that we add. It's like a upper lube that I add, which just, you know, prevents like rust or anything happening from all the moisture and stuff that the E85 will draw in. Otherwise though, pistons look great from the top. We don't know about the bottom yet. Let's flip this thing over, get the oil pan off and see where the damage is. Because this looks good. Worst case scenario, I just need to buy a GE block and put new con rods, pistons, and a crank in it. And then I can still use my same GTE head and everything will bolt on. That's good. That's really, really good. Really good sign. Obviously that needs to be cleaned like crazy though, and I want to upgrade the shims in it. But it's time to flip this thing over. We need to get a tray under it though, because it's gonna make a huge mess. Here we go. Oh, chalky milk, mate. Beautiful. Not too bad actually, I thought it was gonna be worse. Oh my God. Look at the bearing material. I've never seen that. Oh my God. Look at that, that's crazy. Okay, first of all, I'm keeping this. All right, I'm keeping some of this. I want these shavings. I want them to get cleaned up and added in my little bag of, like a little bag up there on my shelf of destruction of things that have blown up or exploded. Oh my God. Like it's just all pulled up here, like look at this. It's all bearing material. What's that? That's metal. I'm sure there'll be more inside the car. Oh, look at it over here. More. That's crazy. Trying to get a peek of what's going on in there, and this might be worse than I thought. I mean, it's pretty bad. We've bent a crank, so bent, twisted, whatever you want to call it. Definitely keeping that for later. Gonna clean that off. More 10 mils. Take off our special baffle. Go from there. So glad I have one of those like secondary filters for my turbo oil feed, because that would have all just gone into my turbo and killed it. We are so fortunate that we caught this when we did. This is a moment away from like full destruction. Gosh, this is not. Gosh. Oof. There is so much carnage. I still don't see like anything obvious yet. It's probably the back 3, because the front 3 look minty. Oh. inside my pickup. Oh no, something's let go in a really bad way. I don't think it's the rod bearings, I think it's gonna be the main bearings. I mean, obviously the crank's damaged, right? That makes sense. Like, I've never seen bearing material like this before, mainly because every engine that like I've pulled apart that's had rod knock has been a rod bearing. This is way thicker. Look at it all on this. Like, it's pretty gnar. It's glitter city, man. All right, what's behind door number 2? Rods all look fine. Rods look great. That's good. Means we have good rods and pistons. This is actually looking pretty good. Now, number one thing that I'm worried about though, is actually if we wore too much through the bearings and damage the block and the main caps, which are special billet ones. So that would be very bad. That could mean that the block is done. So I'm hoping that it's not that bad and we can still reuse the block. But I'm really stoked because all the rods look amazing. There's no heat. Like, you can't see any bluing. If this was like a spun rod bearing, this would be like dark blue and changing colors throughout the rod, right? And you would see damage. Like, you would literally physically see it. On all these rods look brand new like I put them in. They look incredible. So that's really, really good sign for the rods and pistons at least. So we'll get all the rods and pistons out, take the brace off, and we'll pull the crank. I need to get the oil pump off first, so I'll do that real quick, and then we'll go from there. But so far, this is looking really, really good. I think we got away really, really lucky. We've got a good head. Looks like we've got good rods and pistons so far, touch wood. But yeah, this is looking good. I like what I see there. The front cap still has bearing material on the crank. What we want to see. I'm really curious to open up my oil pump, but like, look at all the shavings. Oof. Look at all the shavings in here. There's so many shavings, like just in everywhere here where the oil's been sitting. Oh man. All right. Yeah? A little worn, but that's probably from all the material that went through it. But not that bad. Ooh, full of it. Lovely. All right. Yo, it's not that bad. We're looking pretty schmick. Yeah, usual wear. Thing was making 1200 on a big track, so I'm pretty stoked on these. They look awesome. All right, here we go. Yo, once again, bearings look good. There's obviously signs on them that stuff went through them. They look good. You can see there. Doesn't look the greatest. Crank though, not a single thing that my nail is catching on either of those. So that's awesome. Push out number 6 now. Once again, looks really nice. Awesome. Same thing again. Bearing looks great. So again, piston looks really good. Same usual bit of wear there. It actually hasn't dug into the piston. It's mainly just taken off the coating, which is really nice. This side, little bit there. And this could also be because the crank's bent and twisted, right? So not too bad, bearing looks good again. Awesome. And once again, same thing. The journals on the crank for the rods look immaculate, but like I said, I'm pretty sure the problem is gonna be the mains. Oh, this looks immaculate too. A little bit of wear. Yeah, this will be from the bent crank, but that's fine. Nothing my nail catches on, that's just the coating. These pistons are 100% reusable. Door number 5, piston number 3. Once again, mint. This one actually looks a little compressed on the edges and looks like a bunch of material went through it, as we know. So that's good. Let's go, baby. This piston definitely copped a little bit more of a beating than the others. You can see both sides have these markings here, there, and I can also see a bit of heat came through under the conrod. Not too bad though. I'll have to get that checked. There's no discoloration to the conrod itself, but we need to make sure that's still in spec. But the bearing is definitely out of shape. You can see that. Doesn't match the conrod anymore. So I'm assuming that this is probably where the crank is bent. We'll see what it's like under here though. Piston number 4. Yeah, looks like the same thing. It looks like the bearings are out of shape on the top and they've been beaten. Makes sense. Caps look good. Yeah, bearings are completely out of shape. Okay, so that's where the crank is damaged. So it looks like 5, 6, 1, and 2 are good. It's the 2 middle ones by the looks of this. Like the bearing's already slipped out of this. Oh yeah, yeah, it's definitely what's happened. Look at the bearing for this. It just fell straight off. Look at this, it's so out of shape. And see, it's been beaten. There's a chance, like see how the ends aren't curvy, they've just been flattened out because it's all out of placement, it's twisted, right? The crank is bent, so it's not like in line anymore. And this looks like it copped a little bit of heat here too. So, look, it doesn't seem like there's discoloration on the outside, but this here may need to be bored, like, you know, remachined here out. I don't know, this could be a no-go for the 2 center rods, how there's this heat marks here. We'll find out though. And once again, same markings there and there. Interesting. Oh yeah. Oof. Wow. Something went through this in a bad way. Look at that groove in that main bearing there. Look at that. Both sides. Wow. This copped some heat too. Oof. It's out of shape. The bearing's completely out of shape. Clean. That's good. But bearing material everywhere in here. It's like, I don't know. It's like welded. Can't move the, oh, can kind of get it too. But there's like tons of bearing material here. Oh yeah. Man, let's see if we can get this out. For a bent crank, I thought I'd see, you know, like the crank damaged itself physically. Ooh. Look at all the bearing material as it was like pushing it out. You actually see it like pushed it down and compressed it and was flaking it out. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look, here's some of the flakes. Isn't that impressive? Oh, that came off too easy. Definitely. Oh no! She's done. Oh no. Yeah, spun main. Look, that's all the way up there. Spun main. Oh, crap. This is gonna need a line bore. Not the end of the world. The block should be savable. Need a line bore. And yeah. It's unfortunate. Damn it. Number 4. Man, holy. Poor thrust bearing. Copped it. Once again. There's almost no bearing left there. It's like melted in. And the main cap is effed. So yeah, new main caps, new line bore. We'll be right. Jeez. So this just turned into from a 1 week rebuild to a month rebuild. Oh my god. Spun. Totally spun. Wow. Oh my gosh. This one actually doesn't look too bad. This one doesn't look too bad either. Stuff went through it. That's about it. Wow. This one copped a beating here. Look at it. Just spun it. It's all out of balance. It's all out of place. This one, look. It's like the bearing material is part of the crank. What was left of it, ooh. Oh my gosh, that's wild. I wonder if I can get that off. I'm gonna cut myself on it at this rate. I was able to get all the bearings off, and the worst one was definitely the center one that was like completely thinned out, and it's like thin tin metal now. That's pretty bad. But yeah, they're all pretty bad to be honest. It all leads and points to the crank actually being bent. In fact, I don't know if these are cracks or what, or indentations, but it looks like there's something in the center here. Like it could be from the bearing, but it looks like there's like stress fractures in it, but I don't know. Regardless, we were pushing this crank past its recommended power level. It's what happens when you're pushing the boundaries. We knew there was a risk involved. We were just hoping it was gonna hold out, and it honestly did. It held out all the way to the end. Most teams were on their second engine. Some teams were onto their like 4th or 5th engine. So, you know, I think I did really, really well building this myself till 4 a.m. in the morning and stuff like that with the rush that we had and the budget that we had. I think we did really, really well. The block's savable. I need new main caps. I need to line bore it again and step up bearing size for the mains, but everything else is the same. Everything else is pretty much good. The rod's a little questionable on the 2 center ones. To be honest, I'll probably just get a whole new set of rods and pistons to be safe, but we could actually reuse some of that stuff there. The most part though, the block's okay, the head's okay. We got out of this really, really lucky. When we found it when we did, and just stopped running the car after that, pushed it on the truck, that's definitely saved us here. You can't really look at the crank and physically see it twisted or bent. It's something you got to put it on a lathe and like measure it with a dial gauge. But every bit of damage that we've seen here correlates with that issue, with the bent or twisted crank. So that's where we're at. That's what happened. Yeah. I'm just glad that we were able to salvage some of this, because these are not cheap engines anymore. So sure, it's very hard to find like a good used head or block. At least we could use the GE blocks. The main thing I was worried about was like the head, if the head had any damage, but luckily no damage there. Oh, I don't think so.
You have a lot of fiberglass falling. You don't want that in your eyes. Then you have to have surgery.
Worst things has gone into his eyes.
Not as worse as yours.
Pause. He said not as bad as yours. It was crazy.
Even more pause.